What do all these parts have in common? These are all parts for our oil burning system. This is the oil burner itself. These are valves. They control flow. Some of them are relatively large and 90 degrees. Some of them are much smaller and only a ½ valves. Either way, they control the flow of a fluid or steam. Some of our valves are check valves, which only allow water or steam to flow one direction. Either way, we'll explain how these fit together and how they work together in our oil burning schematic in just a moment. Starting at the oil bunker, it's just a box that holds all of the oil in the tender. Out of the bottom of the bunker, there's a tank shutoff valve. The oil then runs through a line to the line heater where the oil will be warmed. From there, it goes through the oil firing valve, which is controlled by the quadrant by the fireman, and the oil then drips into the top of the burner. The steam comes from the turret, which is located on the top of the boiler inside the cab, also called the fountain. There's a valve between the fountain and the manifold so that we can turn it off separately should we need. There's also a shop air connection that will be used to connect a large air compressor to the locomotive so that we have air pressure to fire the locomotive up in the morning before we have steam pressure. Both of those are going to charge the oil firing manifold with approximately 165 pounds per square inch of air or steam. Once the oil firing manifold is charged with steam or air, we have a series of valves which control the various functions of the oil firing system. The first which we'll talk about is the oil bunker heat. The bunker heater looks like a ladder, and it simply heats the oil by circulating steam through that heater and exhausts it overboard on the tender. There's a ½ valve from the oil firing manifold that controls the flow of steam to the bunker heat. The next function we'll discuss is the line heat. That also comes from the oil firing manifold through a controllable valve, and it's simply a steam passageway around the line heater, which is the tube that the oil flows through, which has a jacket that steam circulates around to heat the oil before it goes to the oil firing valve and then the burner. The next one we'll discuss is the blowback system. This is a system so that we can clean the oil line out in case of a blockage. The way that works is you open the blowback valve off of the oil firing manifold, and then you either open the oil firing valve to clear the line through the burner, or you open the tank shutoff valve to clear the line all the way back into the tender's bunker. The fourth system we'll discuss is the atomizer, which is the other component aside from oil that the burner uses to create the combustion inside the firebox. The atomizer is adjusted by the firemen approximately every time they move the oil firing valve so that there's the proper air and oil mixture inside the firebox to burn completely and keep the stack burning clean. The last system we'll talk about is the blower. This is a valve off of the oil firing manifold that runs up through the stack of the locomotive and creates a draft when the locomotive is not in motion. When in motion, the cylinders and the exhaust pulses of steam will create the draft to make the fire burn cleanly through the firebox and through the flues. However, when the locomotive is stopped or when it's firing up first thing in the morning, you have to supplement that with the blower line. Hopefully you found that interesting and enlightening. Now that we've explained how these parts all work together, in a future volume you'll see us put them all together into the actual locomotive and machining parts and bending pipes. So stay tuned, that'll be a future volume. Hopefully you find that interesting as well.